here's a penetration register that we would, or sorry, penetration systems that we would use. And I'm talking about penetrations here specifically, but you would do the same for your dampers, for your fire doors, for your fire penetration, or for your walls, anything that goes along with this in the compartmentalization world. So this lists all the products. If you look at on the columns, this is actually out of a multi-res, so it's a bit more complex than you'd normally get in a fit out. But this is all the products they've used, and it actually goes on to page 2, but this is just page 1. And we've gone through it, we've made sure it works, make sure the FRL, the correct FRL for the element is covered, and then we get it approved by us. We've gone through it, we've gone to the test reports. If you look in the middle there, it says test number. That's the actual test report. That's the information that we need to make sure that what the installation matches that. And quite often it's a bit of a caution. Some install guides or some advice given doesn't always match the test, and that's part of our process when we do that. Then we get it to a builder, in this case, multi-res would give it to a builder, and then we'd sit down with the building certifier and go, here's all the products, and we would do this across every trade, lifts, bin chutes, you know, all the gamut in a multi-res. Not quite as complex in a fit out, but it could be if it's the whole floor. So, so that becomes our document that says this is what we're putting in there. If you're going to change from that, we need to know about it. And I think I had that up in the earlier slide. So now we've started construction. So we've got through the process of, we've got the documentations, we know what everyone's doing, someone's oversight it, we all said thumbs up, happy days, this is what we're going to do. This is where we have to start the construction process. You want to make sure you've dealt with the dilapidation report and what you're going to do with it. But remember, you can't just leave it as wrong and pick a corner and say, I'll run a cable. You're not going to get away with that. Yeah, I would insist on an ITP, inspection test plan, and progressive sign-off, particularly if you're doing works through the floor into the tenancy underneath. There's a lot of that goes on. You want to make sure that everyone's doing that at the same time. I mean, you would generally do that as part of your programming, because obviously, depending who's down there, you might have to get security and whatnot. But if you're going down there to do the work, you want to do the work, do the fire stopping, do the labelling, create the evidence, close the ceiling up and get out of there and don't go back. So I see that done because we quite often get engaged by various different contractors, and we go back 3 and 4 times, and it's like, guys, this is costing you a fortune. We could have done it once. Coordination of all that is that's sort of part of the process. So I said site training there, and everyone sort of somewhat scoffs at site training, but the problem I have with positive fire, it's one of the really important things of the building. In construction, I think the stats, and we've done it in previous webinars, I think like 40% of all rectification in buildings across all trades is passive fire. Or I think 45% is fire and 80% of that is passive fire. Numbers don't matter. It's huge compared to what it costs. And it's high on the agenda. You know, the the Fire Brigade, QFES in Queensland, are now doing inspections. I've got insurance companies saying, show me your register if I'm going to insure your building, or get an audit done. And for those in the facility management world, you know, if you've got a 30-story high-rise, you're going to spend 6 figures fixing that up, I guarantee. So this is part of that process. So training the trades to make sure they do it properly, at least this bit's done properly, and you're not going to be coming back later and doing it again. So.